So 5 pots, and in Tibet they call pots. But you can also think 5 cups or 5 bowls. It's basically a container. So a container that you would label as a container for liquid. It's a suitable container for liquid. Or a cup like this. So this relates to states of mind. So the first pot or cup or bowl is the one that's turned over. So it's upside down. I can't turn this one upside down. There's liquid here. I can't turn that one. So it's upside down. So basically it's facing the wrong direction. All right? So think about whether it's your mind. We're not talking about really cups, but an example of cups. Facing the wrong direction. So choose the direction that you want to face and make wholesome choices. So you're bringing into any teaching or discussion or conference or conversation, you're bringing something wholesome, something beneficial to the conversation, rather than facing the wrong direction and being irritable, angry, impatient. That can easily happen. So, am I facing the right direction in the sense of if you've got beneficial and unbeneficial qualities, am I facing the qualities? Am I facing in that direction rather than the other one? And when I finish, I'll ask you if it's all clear. The second one is the pot which is covered, or the cup which is covered. So the example would be, you have the cup and then there's something over the top of it. The example of this, the modern example would be, you're like kangaroos, you two. Isn't it? Up, down, in, out. I'm going to talk to you two later. I think shackles and balls and balls and chains, very good for these two. Somebody wearing earphones. Okay, so the covered up cup or bowl. Somebody wearing earphones, very popular these days, isn't it, with the young people? Let's have a conversation, and they keep the earphones in. They say, yeah, I'm listening. And you can hear boom, 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 like this. So the indication of this one is, are you being receptive and open? Are you receptive and open? Because very easy for us to close our ears and say, yeah, I'm listening, but we don't really want to listen. So the pot which is covered. Then the third one is the pot or the cup which has already contained something poisonous. Something smelly and poisonous. So it's a toxic substance. And then, even though the cup or the bowl is empty, because it's contained something toxic, when you put pure water into it, the pure water now mixes with this other toxicity, the poisonous substance. So even though you have pure water, it's becoming corrupt because of what's already been in there. So the indication of this one is, you have to purify your mind, you have to remove these negative thoughts and negative emotions in order for you to receive something beneficial. And then the fourth one to be aware of is the cup which is filled to the very top, to the brim. It's completely full. So this is the person who's very full of themselves. You know, they're always relating to themselves and their opinions and their ideas, and they're so full of themselves that they can't listen to anything else. There's no room for anything else. No space for new ideas. And then the last one is the cup that leaks. Leaks. It's got a crack. So the cracked pot. We call people crackpots, you know. So the cracked pot. And this is in one ear, out the other. It goes in this way, it comes out the other side. In English we say in one ear, out the other. It's like there's nothing between. There's nothing receiving the information. So it's not enough to hear wisdom, we need to retain the wisdom. So how much am I retaining? And this one you find out in your discussions with each other. This is why I like people to talk to each other after teachings, because then you discover sometimes you misheard something, sometimes you didn't hear it at all, sometimes you misinterpret. So when you discuss, you actually find out whether you're holding on to the information and whether you've construed the information, received the information in the right way or the wrong way. Okay, have you got it? So the cup, I'll say the cup which is turned over, the cup which is covered, the cup which has already had something poisonous in it, the cup which is full to the brim, to the very top, and then the cup that leaks. So this refers to, at the very beginning of listening to teachings, going to a conference, in a workshop, whatever it is, are you listening in the right way? Because if you're not, then you're losing the information, or you're distorting the information. You're changing the information. And that's very easy to do. When you have a delusion or afflictive emotion like anger, hatred, pride, you know, these delusions, or maybe afflictive emotion, because to afflict means to affect in a negative way. So these afflictive emotions affect the mind in such a way that you're not hearing, seeing, interacting in a clear way. It makes everything confused. And depending on the level of the emotion, depends on how confused you are. You're hearing things in your own way. Okay? So how do you change that situation of you bringing into, say, the teaching now? How do you stop yourself from confusing your mind in a teaching? First of all, you think, well, am I like this? Am I this? Am I this? And you go through the list and check your mind is facing in the right direction. Why am I doing this? What's the purpose? Have a good motivation. And then, if the pot's covered, it's like you've got your fingers in your ears. I'm not really listening. And we can do that too. You know, we can be thinking about something else outside, and virtually it's like you're not listening. Even though you're here, you're not listening. And then the poisonous one, I think, is very interesting, because based on past habits, past habituation, past negative emotions, then this is the poison. And that poison mixes with the wisdom that you could have, the clean water, you know, the pure water. It mixes with it, and so you've got the water, but now the water itself, the wisdom, is polluted. So it's not going to really benefit you. It'll benefit you to an extent, but not truly benefit you. And it's going to have limited benefit on those around you. So to be aware of that. Then full to the brim, sometimes we can think, oh, I know all about this. You know, oh, I know. You know, that sense of I know. So I think to go back to being something like a child. When you're a child, then you're very open to new ideas. And also you're joyous and enthusiastic about it. You really want to learn. So I think the idea is sort of open your eyes like a child, listen like a child, and don't filter through the experience of the adult. Just be open to new ideas. And in that way, also, don't criticize others' ideas. Because often we can think, well, I know more about this than they do. You know, why are they telling me this? If you're in, say, a business meeting or a meeting of friends or something like that, sometimes people are telling me about Buddhism. You know, there's Buddhism's blah, 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 blah. And I don't say, why are you telling me? You know? It's like often you hear something in a different way. And I think, oh, that's interesting. That's not a way I'd thought. And so if you open yourself up to listening to others, you often learn a lot. It's extremely valuable. So how do you listen? Empty the cup. You know, empty it out and don't be so full of your own ideas. And I think this is also to do with preconcepts, imagining something in a particular way. It's going to happen in a particular way. We can imagine. Haven't you had conversations with yourself when you're meeting somebody? I'm going to meet this person. And so you think through what you're going to say, how you're going to say it. And so when you're there, you're not interacting in the moment, it's history. You've already written the conversation. Okay? So drop the idea of the conversation that you're going to have. Prepare for the conversation, but don't write the conversation. We have to have the information in order to have the conversation. But don't write it all out. I'll say this, they'll say this, and then I'll say this. If you want to be witty, you know, you think up a joke. So you think up of a joke and you think, oh, then I'll tell this joke. And then they'll think it's really funny, and then this will happen, and then this will happen. And you find you're just not present. And they feel you're not present. They feel that you're sort of manipulating the whole conversation, which you are, you know, because you're so full of yourself. So listen to the other and be full of the other. That's the difference. In emptying the cup, then you become full of the other's ideas, the other's feelings, the other's emotions. What's going on with them, become full of that and become aware of that, rather than of oneself and one's own ego. And the last one, the pot that leaks, I think this is guaranteed to happen. Guaranteed, right? Because we don't have full concentration. We can concentrate, the scientists say, 30 seconds. Now, they say the concentration level has dropped to the length of an average SMS. You know, the message that you send on your phone? That's the average time of concentration now. It used to be, according to scientists, 2 or 3 minutes. But we've dropped to about 30 seconds. This is a bit disturbing. You know, when you're a teacher, particularly, it's very disturbing because you think 30 seconds, they've gone. 30 seconds, they've gone, you know? So I think very hard now for people to keep their mind on the subject, but essential when you're in business. You know, you can't afford to sort of be sitting there and thinking, oh, I wonder what's for dinner, you know? Whether it's pizza and blah, blah, blah. And they're saying, and we're in a very threatening situation, we could lose $100 million. And you think, and so on the pizza I would have, and they say, so what do you think? Yeah, I vote for that, you know? So very easy to not be present. But to be present, much more difficult. It's a quality that we need to develop. This level of concentration. And so how do you develop concentration? Through meditation and through connecting meditation to the day.